Do you focus on the art of conversation or do you focus on the heart of conversation? In the last several weeks, I've had the opportunity to have conversations with a lot of people. Conversation is so important. But there were 3 particular conversations in a 7-day time period that really brought home 2 important things about conversation. The first was that there's an art to conversation. The second was that there's a heart to conversation. The first conversation happened to be a wrong number phone call from an elderly woman who coincidentally was looking for someone with my same first name. As soon as I answered the phone and identified myself, she began right in with conversation, but I knew fairly early on that she'd had the wrong number. She was sharing with me things that just didn't exist in my world. I was able to get a word in and a pause in the conversation and explain to her that she had had the wrong number because the things that she was talking about just weren't happening in my life at the moment. She was absolutely horrified that she had dialed the wrong number. But I could tell she was actually very upset that she may have brought some angst into my life that didn't need to be there. I could feel that in the conversation. So I assured her that I knew early on that it was the wrong number. I assured her that it hadn't caused me any distress or any angst. I wished her a good day and good luck finding who she was looking for, and we both left the conversation intact. The next conversation was on a rather long flight. A gentleman sat down next to me, and we began just the general niceties conversation, where you going, how you doing, that kind of thing. Talk very briefly about kids, and that was for the moment the end of the conversation. But as the flight went on, he began to share with me more about who he was and the things that he was going through in life. He opened up to me and shared some of the struggles that he was facing. At the end of the flight, I wished him good luck in where he was going and what he was doing, and we both left the conversation intact. The third conversation happened to be one of those conversations that you just never want to have. It was with a family member who's really struggling with her strength at the moment. She's going through some things in life that are really testing her strength and her will and her endurance. She needed to know that she is still strong. She needed to know in our conversation that she was still a strong person. And even though at the moment she's not feeling it, that she is. She needed to hear from me why I think she's strong. There's an art of conversation and there's a heart of conversation. The art of conversation is that thing that invites the other person into conversation with us. It's the thing that creates that initial connection. But it goes so much further than that. The art of conversation is us being able to be heard, us being able to send out the invite. But the heart of conversation, that's what lets the other person know that this experience is a safe place to share. It's a safe place to be heard. The art of conversation is us broadcasting. The heart of conversation is us truly listening, us opening up a space in our heart to hear what the other person needs us to hear. It involves us not formulating an answer as the other person's speaking. It involves us denying our need to speak because sometimes the other person's need to be heard is more important. In those 3 conversations I had, the art of conversation was important for the invite into conversation, but the heart of conversation, that's what completed it and allowed us both to stay in the conversation. There's no doubt about it. The art of conversation is important. We need that in our day-to-day lives. We need that to create initial connections. We need that in our professions. It's an important thing to have. But without the heart of conversation, we're simply broadcasting. With the heart of conversation, brought into it, we're making a complete communication connection. What do you think about conversations? How do your conversations go? Are you focused more on being heard, or are you focusing on listening? Do you incorporate both? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Please leave a comment below, and I'll see you next time on IamWomanEnough.com.